We start the meeting. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the 2016 organizational meeting of the Columbus Board of Education. Ask the treasurer to call the roll.
Mr. Baker?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Ms. Gibbs?
Here.
Ms. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Peretti?
Here.
Ms. Reyes?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. All right, please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. I forgot to say that at the beginning. So the next item of business will be to elect a president pro tem. So this individual will preside until the board has elected its new president. And so I would like to volunteer to serve as president pro tem as past presidents have done in the past.
And I would suggest that...
Mr. Brown?
Yeah. I would suggest that we select and appoint a president pro tem to preside for the purposes of this meeting through the election of officers, somebody who is not necessarily interested in the position. And I would suggest Ramona serve in that capacity.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. I did speak with Board Member Reyes earlier, and I know that she is not prepared to accept that appointment. Is there a motion?
I move that.
Yes, ma'am.
I move President Baker to serve as President Pro Tem for this meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Treasurer?
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Sure.
Mr. Peretti?
No.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. All right. Now we will adopt the agenda as you... Oh. Okay. We can do it after. All right. So the chair will now entertain a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Hearing no discussion. Mr. Treasurer?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Baker?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Next order of business is ceremonial swearing-in and official swearing-in. Oath of office will be given in alphabetical order, as we've typically done. So I'll go first. So I will invite my pastor, John Keeney, to the podium. I would also like to ask my partner, Lisa Clark, to join us at the podium.
And Mr. Baker, just one point of order. For the record, we should have the name of the person and when you were officially sworn in as well.
Fair point, Mr. Brown. So state statute does require that a duly authorized individual swear in new board members, and so I was duly sworn in prior to this meeting by our General Counsel, Larry Braverman. Good point, thank you. I, Gary Baker,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution
Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as a member of the Columbus Board of Education,
as a member of the Columbus Board of Education,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted.
and hereafter to be enacted. Thank you very much.
And I'd like to have my wife, Marilyn, and our daughter, older daughter, Earl, come up for my swearing in. For the record, I took the oath a short time ago with general counsel officially. My wife, Marilyn, is our county commissioner. Our daughter, Earl, our older daughter, was just elected as a member of the school board in Jefferson. And she will have her organizational meeting on Thursday, where she will take the oath for the first time and participate in the same with us.
You ready?
We've done this before.
And we never get it right. So we're going to try.
I, Eric Brown,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as a member of the Columbus Board of Education
as a member of the Columbus Board of Education
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted.
and hereafter to be enacted.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Brown, for being here tonight. Thank you, Beryl. Congratulations on your election. Welcome, Mr. Brown. Pleased to have you. All right, now, Board Member Gibbs, W. Shauna Gibbs, I'd like to ask you to go to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you, President Baker, member of the board. If all of my family and friends would join me, this is my official swearing in, as I have always stood Gibbs for Kids and with the community. I want the community to join me in being officially sworn into the body. I am going to be sworn in by the Honorable Judge Laurel Beatty. You want to hold that for her? Thank you, Mr. Gresham. My pastor, Dr. C. Dexter Wise, is going to hold my Bible.
Please repeat after me. I, W. Shauna Gibbs.
Right. The other right.
Make sure I'm correct, right?
The other right. Okay.
Right? Okay.
Correct.
I, W. Shauna Gibbs,
I, W. Shauna Gibbs,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially
discharge
my duties as a member of the Columbus Board of Education
discharge my duties as a member of the Columbus Board of Education
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws
and in accordance with the laws
now in effect
now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted.
and hereafter to be enacted.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Gibbs, welcome back. Thank you for being here this evening, Your Honor. We appreciate it. Pastor Wise, thank you for being here as well. All right. Board Member Hudson, if you'd like to approach the podium and let us know who will be performing your swearing in. I think I know him. Pastor John Keeney, up again.
Welcome, Pastor John Keeney, along with my wife, Lynn Wallace, and our very good friend, Mr. Kyle.
I state your name.
I, Mary Jo Hudson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a member of the Columbus Board of Education
as a member of the Columbus Board of Education
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted.
and hereafter to be enacted. Thank you. I should add that I also was officially sworn in just before the meeting by our General Counsel, Larry Braverman.
Welcome back, Board Member Hudson. All right, our next item of business is our election of officers for 2016. So at this point, we'll open nominations for the office of President of the Columbus Board of Education. Is there a nomination?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Preddy.
I nominate Mary Jo Hudson as President of Columbus Board of Education.
Thank you. Board Member Hudson, are you willing to serve if elected?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Are there other nominations? Oh, Ms. Reyes. Oh, Ms. Gibbs, I apologize.
Mr. Baker, I'd like to nominate Gary Baker for President of the Columbus Board of Education.
Thank you, Board Member Gibbs, and I am willing to serve if I am elected president. Are there other nominations for president? All right, seeing none, the chair will now entertain a motion that nominations be closed.
So move.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Treasurer?
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes,
Pardon me, President Pro Tem.
I knew what
Baker?
you meant.
And Mr. Brown?
Yes.
That motion to close nominations is carried.
Now do roll call, and that's what will determine who the president will be. Mr. Treasurer?
Ms. Gibbs?
Baker.
Ms. Hudson?
Hudson.
Mr. Peretti?
Hudson.
Ms. Reyes?
Baker.
Mr. Baker?
Baker.
Mr. Brown?
Hudson.
And Mr. Cole?
Baker.
By my count, Mr. Baker, you've been elected president of the board for 2016.
Thank you very much, Mr. Treasurer. I appreciate it. Thank you. We will now move on to elect the vice president, after which I and the vice president-elect will take our oaths as officers. So is there a nomination for the office of Vice President? Ms. Reyes.
I would like to nominate Michael Cole.
Board Member Cole, if elected, are you willing to serve?
Yes.
Thank you. Are there other nominations for the office of Vice President? Seeing none, the chair will now entertain a motion that we close nominations.
So moved.
Moved and
Second.
seconded. Mr. Treasurer?
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion to close nomination carried.
We have one nomination. I would like for the treasurer to take a voice vote.
Mr. Peretti? Cole. Ms. Reyes?
Cole.
President Baker?
Board Member Cole?
Mr. Brown?
Cole.
Mr. Cole?
Cole.
Ms. Gibbs?
Cole.
And Ms. Hudson.
Cole.
Mr. Cole, you've been elected Vice President of the Board for 2016.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Board Member Cole. I will now go to the podium, and I will ask Pastor Keeney to join me again at the podium.
Board Member Baker was administered the oath of office as a member of the Columbus Board of Education by John Keeney. I state your name.
I, Gary Baker,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as President of the Columbus Board of Education
as President of the Columbus Board of Education
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted.
And hereafter to be enacted. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Request Mr. Braverman to swear me in officially.
Yes, of course. Mr. Braverman, please.
And introduce your beautiful family.
Which hand do I? Why would you hold the Bible first?
Ready? Please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Michael Cole,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
as Vice President of the Columbus Board of Education
as Vice President of the Columbus School Board of Education
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and in accordance with the laws now in effect
and hereafter to be enacted.
and hereafter to be enacted.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Let's see, just a few quick comments. All right, Vice President Cole, would you like to introduce your family members who joined you at the podium?
Well, yes, thank you, Mr. President. I was joined by my lovely wife, Lee Cole, of what will soon be 16 years. my daughter Washington Camille Cole, and my son William MacArthur Cole. I thank you all for being here, and I thank you all for your trust.
Thank you for being here very much. My partner, Lisa Clark, had to leave before that second swearing, and she's the president of the PTA at Cause, and they have a meeting tonight. So she didn't want to be any later than she had to be. So as your returning president, I will just very briefly thank my colleagues for the great year that we just had. I look forward to working with you all as we build consensus in pursuit of the mission of the district. 2016 will be a critically important year. I know by working together diligently as a team with the administration, our 3 direct reports, that we will accomplish great things during 2016. So I'm very excited about it, looking forward to working with all of you. You've all been great leaders, and I know that that will continue. Thank you very much. Vice President Cole, do you have any words you'd like to share very briefly?
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I just want to briefly state my thanks for your unanimous support and this opportunity. We've been able to accomplish a great deal of work together in the past 2 years. We've done a lot of heavy lifting, and that could not have been done singularly by anyone in leadership or any one board member. It took all of us together, working together, irrespective of our disagreements or our agreements. I look forward to supporting this board and our administration and moving this district forward in a way that we haven't seen before. I think that we're in the space of being much more generative and proactive in our work. And I really look forward to supporting us and moving forward the best way we can for our children and for our staff. God bless this district. God bless each and every one of you in this audience.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. All right, our next item of business is approval of the 2016. We'll do that between now and then. Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Thank you. All right, so next item, approval of the 2016 meeting calendar. You all should have received this in advance. Is there a motion that we accept the meeting calendar for 2016 as it was presented?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the calendar? All right, Mr. Treasurer?
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
That motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. We will adjourn the organizational meeting shortly. We will go upstairs, the board, to take our annual board photo. We will then return, and I will call the regular board business meeting to order. That should be no later than 5:30 at the very latest. So I appreciate your patience if you are staying for the second meeting, but please do feel free. Ms. Hudson?
Why don't we just finish our meeting first, and then not waste everybody's time, and then we can have our photo op afterwards. We're all here.
Ms. Gibbs?
I actually would like to greet my guests and allow them to leave first, even if it's briefly and I have to interrupt.
Let's adjourn. I would adjourn for 5 minutes and 10 minutes, and then we can continue with our meeting down here.
So the chair will entertain a motion that we adjourn. We will adjourn. We will then greet guests. We will take our photo, and we'll be back just as soon as possible. It won't be 5:30. It'll be ASAP. So is there a motion that we adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Mr. Treasurer?
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Brown? Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
And that motion carried.
This meeting is adjourned. Good evening. I'd like to call this regular business meeting of the Columbus Board of Education to order, and I'd like to ask the treasurer to call the roll.
President Baker?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Vice President Cole?
Here.
Ms. Gibbs?
Here.
Ms. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Peretti?
Here.
Ms. Reyes?
Here.
You have a quorum?
Thank you very much. And we did already say the Pledge of Allegiance, so we will move on. I'm going to briefly read through the agenda just so we all know what we have before us this evening. Next item is the approval of past meeting minutes from the December 15th meeting. We will then take public comment if we have any speakers. I don't believe we do. We do not. We will then move on to adopting our agenda, after which we will hear from the board's direct reports. We will then take up the consent agenda. We will consider and vote on that. There is no executive session this evening, so we will adjourn after hearing any announcements or other items of special interest, albeit they brief, from board members. So the chair will now entertain a motion that we approve the board minutes from the regular business meeting of December 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on those meeting minutes? Mr. Treasurer?
President Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Abstain.
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. The chair will now entertain a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Mr. Treasurer?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
And President Baker.
Yes.
That motion carried.
Thank you very much. Mr. Superintendent, have you an update for the board this evening?
Very briefly, President Baker, Vice President Cole, members of the board, I'd like to announce first a welcome to Nana Watson, newly appointed leadership of NAACP, and I believe she's here if you want to wave so everybody sees that you're here. Thanks for. She's also a parent of one of our principals of downtown high school, Cheryl Watson, so she's in.
Thank you, Dr.
So thanks for being here this evening, and hopefully we'll see everyone on Tuesday, January 12th for the State of the District. This evening, I simply want to go through that agenda with you. The doors will open at 4 o'clock at East High School. You can park at the Franklin Park Conservatory or OSU Wexner Medical Center. At 4:30, there is a staff briefing that will be held in the gymnasium of East High School. At 5 o'clock, the doors open to the public, and there will be an hour and 15 minutes of a journey through a student's education career, beginning with their pre-kindergarten experiences all the way through high school and then on to career technical, adult education, and workforce development. Many interactive displays, certainly over 1,000 students participating. I guarantee it'll be most enjoyable. Around 6:15, we will all gather in the auditorium for some student performances, and then the State of the District program will officially begin at 6:30 that evening and will end promptly at 7:30. There will be yellow buses that will transport you from your cars over to East High School, and you'll enter just as our East High School Tigers enter the building each day. So we welcome all to visit our website. You can certainly register your attendance on that website or talk to Todd Tooney, who's standing in the back there by the door, and he'll make certain he gets you registered to attend. It's certain to be a celebratory evening, and we will tout our many achievements for the past year and lay out some vision for the future in the same evening. You'll be hearing from the individuals seated at the table here, and also many community members that have agreed to graciously participate. So the one thing that I think you'll appreciate is that it will be completely student-led. So they'll be introducing each segment of the program as well as entertaining us and guiding us through that pre-K through career journey. So I invite everyone to attend. Again, the date is Tuesday, January 12th. The location is East High School, and we'd be thrilled to see you there then.
Does that conclude your report, Mr. Superintendent?
It does.
Thank you very much. That's very exciting. I hope to see you all there next week. Mr. Treasurer, have you anything to share?
I have no report for the board tonight.
Thank you. And Mr. O'Connor, any report from the Office of Internal Audit?
Nothing this evening, President Baker.
Okay. Thank you for being here this evening. Sure. All right. We will now take up item number 6, public hearing on reemployment of an employee. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 3307.353, the Columbus Board of Education has given notice that Dwayne Bland, principal who retired from the Columbus City Schools effective June 30th, 2015, is seeking employment with the Columbus City Schools as a principal effective January 20th, 2016, and that it would conduct a public meeting on the subject of his reemployment tonight. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on the matter of Mr. Bland's reemployment? Hearing none, seeing none. Mr. Bland's employment as a principal will be considered by the Board of Education as part of tonight's consent agenda. And now, we're moving on to the consent agenda, so the chair will entertain a motion that we accept and adopt the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there discussion on the consent agenda prior to the vote? Any board members have any questions or comments about any particular pieces of legislation this evening? Hearing none, seeing none. Ms. Hudson?
I just wanted to ask about some background on the cause legislation.
Mr. Superintendent?
President Baker, Vice President Cole, to Board Member Hudson. We'll ask our Chief Academic Officer, Lisa Gillison, to respond to the question.
Thank you, President Baker, and to Board Member Hudson. The IB program at CAUSE, it's part of the International IB World Organization, and CAUSE has been one of our IB schools for quite some time. So this particular legislation is for the IB testing for our students. Although we have budgeted for the IB program, the tests are assessed in intervals and once a year, and this particular legislation for the $40,174 is for the IB assessments.
Ms. Hudson, does that answer your question?
Well, I just give it just for public information and mine as well. But what is a student? When a student gets an international baccalaureate, what does that mean for them?
That means when a student goes through the International Baccalaureate and they receive the IB diploma, that means that our students have gone through a most rigorous curriculum, and it is a 2-year program. Some students at CAUSE actually opt to only take IB courses, 1 or 2 IB courses here or there, but once you complete the 2 years of the program, you actually get an IB diploma.
And approximately how many students at CAUSE go through the program or get that diploma every year?
We currently have 327 students enrolled in the IB program this year.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Brown, of course.
Follow up briefly. Do you have any reports back that students who have received the IB diploma that it's been of value to them in some fashion as they've gone on to college or into careers or into their profession? Does it have significance for them? I mean, it's a great accomplishment and it's important, and we ought to continue to encourage it. But do you have any stories of how it's made a difference after they've moved on from here?
I'm going to call on the superintendent.
All right, thank you.
And I know that our Chief Academic Officer is formulating a response, but I think sometimes it's always better when you have a firsthand or primary source experience to get that accounting, and we're certainly blessed that Ari's in the front row. Ari, would you be willing to come and speak to what a graduate of the IB program benefits?
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but...
Good evening, President Baker, Vice President Cole, members of the Columbus Board of Education. I completed my high school diploma from Columbus Alternative in the spring of 2011. I, however, did not complete the IB diploma. However, I think that as Chief Academic Officer Gillison has already alluded to, there's a significant level of value because these students are going into this college coursework, completing coursework that they completed in high school that is very relevant to a very global experience. So the IB program, as you could tell in the title, title of the program is an international program. So from the anecdotal experience that I've had in being at college most recently in December, there was some value. And I think that students really choose COS because it is the only international baccalaureate school within the Columbus City School District. Is that sufficient, Board Member Brown?
It's very helpful. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Ari.
Thank you. That's a cosmic alum right there.
Allowed you to do this spontaneously.
Yes, indeed. Any other questions or comments from board members on legislation? Ms. Hudson?
Thank you. President Baker, I'd ask we look at Resolution 12.1, the evaluation schedule. I think as the board discussed it in December, we had talked about, and I had made the recommendation that we move the date on the treasurer CFO completion date back to September for the reason that, the budget process goes through June. It's a very intense time. There's a lot of additional meetings, and for my experience as chair of the Finance Committee last year, that there would not have been time to get this done, and then we recess all through July. So my recommendation would be that we amend 12.1 for that date to be something like September 1st or a date in September rather than the 31st.
Board Member Hudson, you may recall that we had feedback from the treasurer on that, and the treasurer asked that we retain the date as it currently is to allow for additional discussion with him on his preference. Mr. Treasurer, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Does that?
President Baker, Vice President Cole, members of the board, the issue was brought to my attention. I know it is a matter of a contractual arrangement that we would have to formally amend the contract at some point, either with board action or some sort of acclamation amongst the parties, I guess. There are some issues delaying that date relative to contract renewal that you might want to get the evaluation done prior to having to do a contract renewal, just timing issues that I thought we might want to discuss. So I'm more than willing to, again, enter into those discussions just so that we all don't get in a situation where I suppose you could change it to September 1, and when you got to a certain point decide, well, we better get this done earlier, so that's just a drop dead point. I'm kind of thinking about this on the fly, which is why I made the suggestion, well, if you adopt this, let's talk about it and come back later and change it. But I guess now that we're here and we're chatting, we could move it as Board Member Hudson would like, and then if we run into a time frame, I'm concerned about periods of contract renewal, that you get that done in ample time for both parties. You want to get that done before the contract rolls around. I'm assuming I'm always going to get a renewal, so that because things are going so swimmingly.
Well, hang on.
In the event that you need to use the evaluation for other purposes, the timing of that will be critical.
Okay, so I think.
Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have
Yes, Ms. Reyes.
this, President Baker, so that we can have, we have another meeting. I don't think, can we table this resolution to see if we have additional information for the next?
Motion was made and it was seconded, and I don't object to tabling.
You can move to remove it from the table.
I would like to move to amend, to
Motion to amend.
to table.
Motion to table.
Before we do that, I believe that we're obligated at our first meeting or at the organizational meeting to adopt a resolution scheduling the evaluations. We can always change it, but I would defer to Mr. Braverman.
We do have that requirement, which is why that piece of legislation is on the agenda this evening, and I believe that the comment that Board Member Hudson made suggested that we make a change to that resolution. Am I correct? Okay, and so,
Yes. Well,
okay.
I just, whatever the process, I think that July 31st date is not realistic. It should either be before we recess in July or after. And I just cautioned before, we're going to be in the thick of a lot. And if there, I think if we need to, at this point, I would suggest maybe we move it to the end of June, so it's before we recess for July, and that then we revisit the issue of this date and the contract at the same time.
Mr. Treasurer?
I was just going to say, for point of moving this forward, I'm okay with whatever you guys would like to do. And if something comes up, we'll work that out between now and then. That's fine. We can have further discussion, but I would agree that you probably ought to meet your policy requirements of setting a schedule, even if you have to amend it later. So either way, move it to September, move it to June 30. It's up to you folks. It's fine. It's fine by me. We'll figure out the contractual issue later.
All right, Ms. Gibbs?
So we currently have a motion to remove from the table, currently, which was offered by Ms. Reyes, so we need to move.
Let me clarify. Mr. Braverman, have you a comment?
I'm not sure that I heard it, maybe I didn't hear it, but was there a motion, was there a second to the motion? There was a second.
And that's the question we're asking, whether there was an actual motion.
Did she? So, Ms. Hudson, I don't think you made a motion, am I?
And I wanted to discuss that issue.
So there is no motion on the table. So yours to remove.
But it wasn't seconded.
So what we'll do is pretend like nothing was said. But I know that the treasurer wanted to have the opportunity to thoughtfully and deliberatively contemplate a change. I don't think any of us object to that. I think we may be safe to just adopt this as it is in the agenda. That'll give us a little bit more time to consider making a change. Our policy requirement is that we adopt something tonight that speaks to the evaluation of all 3 direct reports. So I think we can do that now, tonight, and then revisit it after you and the committee chair have had a chance to discuss it, and the rest of the board. Are you all right with that, Ms. Hudson?
Yeah, we would.
Yes?
That's fine.
Okay, all right, very good.
I just think July 31st, though, is completely unrealistic because we're not here.
Right. All of your comments are totally appropriate, and I think I agree with every one of them. So
I'll commit that we'll have a change for the next board meeting, if so warranted.
okay, all right, very good. Comments or questions on any other pieces of legislation from any board members? Hearing none, seeing none. Mr. Treasurer?
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
That motion carried.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for that discussion. Let's now move on to board announcements. So do any members of the board have any brief announcements or other points of pride they might like to share? Ms. Gibbs?
Thank you. And thank you again to the community for being able to serve you again for 4 more years. But I would like to hear from the superintendent about the school lottery fairs that are coming up. The high school, is it the high school fairs that are coming up here? And if you could just share a bit about the date and times. There's so many great things going on in the district.
I'm happy to do so. Actually, I'll ask Alicia Gillison once again to come to the podium and share.
Thank you again for this second opportunity to come to the podium, President Baker and Board Member Gibbs. Yes, we have our high school fair that is coming up this week, and it will be held at East High School, and that is Thursday evening at East High School. And it is an opportunity for our high schools to showcase their course offerings, extracurricular activities, opportunities for parents and students to come and shop for the high school of their choice. So they get a lot of information, and this is actually prior to the school choice lottery, so they can also complete their applications.
And can you briefly touch on, our process. We have a high school fair, then a middle and an elementary school fair, and then just tell us a bit about the process for families who may be new to the district, who may not have ever entered into our school lottery choice system.
Yes. For families maybe moving into the Columbus area or contemplating Columbus City Schools, this is an excellent opportunity for our families to come and look at what our schools have to offer, look at the spirit of success that is flowing through Columbus City Schools, because there are a lot of things that you will see in the school fair that you may not hear or see anywhere else. Our school fairs have our students. We are showcasing our students, student work, our administrators are there, and it is just an opportunity to come and find out everything you ever wanted to know. And the schools are in very close proximity to each other, so you can actually go to the table for Eastmoor Academy and find out all of the wonderful things about Eastmoor Academy, their extracurricular and their athletics, and then you can step right beside that and go to the East High School display. But it's an opportunity for parents and young people to really get a feel for what school that they may be interested in, and that is prior to going online or filling out the paper application for the lottery.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the fairs are great fun, and I like the way Ms. Gillison talks about shopping, because we are a district of choice, because that's what our parents want, and so, bless you. And so this is a great opportunity for folks to go and actually shop for their school. That's a great way to put it. Any other announcements, comments, questions? Mr. Peretti?
Just myself and Board Member Gibbs, this Saturday actually is our first meeting of the ad hoc committee that will be working with our newly seated committee, and we will be starting the process of looking at our master facilities plan, looking at our schools, our populations where we're seeing growth, and it's going to be a really, really exciting process. We'll be meeting at Downtown High School at 8:30 until 12:30, so anyone from the general public, feel free to come on in. It'll be a great time. And Ms. Gibbs, if you'd like to have any comments on that.
No, we'd like to thank Dr. Good and his staff for all the tireless work. You heard at the last meeting from our amazing consultants at the DeYoung and Associates, and we'd like to thank over 100 people who were interested in serving with this district. When people ask about why we do what we do, it's because we have an amazing community that really wants to see our students thrive and succeed. So as Board Member Peretti says, we are very excited to be there. It is open to the public, but that is a committee will convene to hear a lot about the district and begin this great work to review our facilities, our grade configurations, our boundaries, and our specialty schools.
Thank you. Excellent. Very exciting. Mr. Brown?
Yes, I just want to thank you all. I was expecting my first meeting to be more of a hazing, but it's not been.
We can work that out.
But no, I'm very excited to finally be able to participate fully in the board meetings, and look forward to working on behalf of making sure that all of our children in the community can reach their full potential and get a quality education and prepare them for life. So I'm appreciative of being here. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown, and certainly welcome. You do bring a wealth of knowledge, having served 14 or 15 years in the past on a school board, so I'm excited to work with you. I appreciated that you took the time and the effort to attend lots of board meetings prior to the election, so I didn't see anybody else do that. That shows a commitment, and so speaking for the board, I think we're all excited about working together as this new team. So thank you very much. Welcome. Any other comments, announcements? The last thing I'd like to say is the last time we were together, we talked about board retreat. And so we talked about having it immediately following our next regularly scheduled meeting. And so I would like for us to go ahead and schedule that. You may have already put it in your schedules after we talked about it. But we will do that. And then I'd also like to ask you all to keep non-board meeting Tuesdays open as much as possible so that we can plan to utilize those days as we need them for special meetings, retreats, work sessions, whatever else we might need to do in service to our students and staff and families. So unless there's anything else for the good of the order this evening, the chair will now entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Treasurer?
Ms. Gibbs?
Yes.
Ms. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Peretti?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Vice President Cole?
Yes.
And that motion carries. You are adjourned.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Happy New Year. See you next time. Thank you very much for being here.